Welcome to the stream, everyone. Alright, my son HW here. Hope you are all having a wonderful day. Beautiful people. And yeah, we'll get right into our tournament today. As usual, I'm going to start off by reading the rules, and then more importantly, by kicking out the people who haven't put in their faction yet. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and throw that up there. But in any case, thank you everybody in the chat. Spook 'em Up, Move Hacker, Spartan Ranger, Wicked Science, Slate X, Shadoku, Hoser, Move, I already said that, Iron Thunder, Apache, good to see you. Man, there's so many people here. Good to see you all. Hope you're having wonderful days. Dark Phoenix, good to see you. And Gaius Sedius. And Lauren too. Welcome everyone. Ho, what's up, UKIP? So, here we are. Let's go ahead and refresh this. Now, for those of you who didn't read the rules, let's go ahead and check them out, okay? So, here we go. Rules for the faction picking best of one. Each player will choose one faction to play for all best of one battles. You must add your chosen faction to the challenge bracket. So, for example, if I did Greenskins, it would be my son HW-Greenskins. If you get the point across, I'll accept it. Subfactions must be declared, so if you want to bring Averlorn, you have to write in Averlorn as your faction pick. And it's important that you add them before check-in ends, otherwise I will kick you out of the tournament before it starts. Okay, so we'll take care of it from there. Now, where was I? Yeah, so for the best of threes, top bracket will pick the faction first and then ban two factions. Second round, bottom bracket bans two factions and picks two factions. Third round, we go with the top bracket bans, bottom bracket bans and picks, and top bracket picks. So, bans encompass the entire race, so if you ban High Elves, it includes all of their subfactions. And once again, in the best of threes, if you're bringing a subfaction, you have to declare it, though, if you're picking it. So, if you're picking High Elves and your opponent picks Bretonnia, you can't then switch to Averlorn, just because that's kind of an unfair counter in some specific matchups. Now, bans only last for the round. Faction may only be banned once in a best of three, and a faction can only be picked once in a best of three. And when it comes to picking and banning, subfactions do count as their parent faction. Cool. How many rounds are best of one? Slate X. Go fuck yourself. But let's see from here. Battle settings. They're right there, guys. Make sure you set them that way. Lobby time limits. Please try to get your armies made within 5 minutes. And please try to get the lobbies, the battle started within 15 minutes. Like if you aren't there within 15 minutes, your opponent can claim victory by default. Now, let's go ahead and check out the participant list and start booting people. Check-in is already good to go. So it's 7:05. Let's start doing this. Now, we have Iron Thunder with Beastman, Kark with Greenskins, Dimmy Annihilation. We will come back to you. You need to go ahead and add that in there because I don't know what Annihilation means. Moose Warlord, Lizardman, Pharaoh of War, please add in that faction. Move Hacker with Dowie, ooh. Zara with Lizards, Uncle Gant with Vampire Counts, Vicious Satsuma, ooh, I'm excited to see him play again with Greenskins coming in second last tournament, playing very well against Shadoku. From there we have Shadow Diver with Dowie, Dark Elves coming in for Von Karstein, Gobbo Slayer bringing in the Dowie, we have Gamer Haku, bringing Empire, yay, first Empire we're seeing, I love Empire. Rigson gets the Coast, Cool Roko, please go ahead and put in your faction next to your name. You guys can go ahead and edit your names in the challenge brackets right now. Mukip, High Elves, Rain, Tomb Kings, H45, we got some Lizardmen, Ceremus, we have Skaven, we have Wood Elves from Loopy, we have High Elves from Black Phillip, we have Dark Elves from Hadres, VM Soter, we got Wood Elves, Demandred. Please add in your faction. Okay, last warning, everybody. Do your faction or I will boot you in about 2 minutes. Hawk, Tomb King, Spook 'em Up, Gats Coast, Beastie Boys for Wicked D, and then we have the Lizards for Merkvider Sue. We got Bretonnia for Halcon, Vampire Counts for Void Laws. Everybody, I'm announcing it right now. VC means Vampire Counts. If you put VC, you are playing Vampire Counts. Vampire Coast is VP or Coast. And just to avoid confusion, honestly, Counts and Coast is probably the best way to avoid confusion. But if you put VC in my tournament bracket, that means VP, just to clarify that right now, okay? Dark Phoenix, Wood Elves. We have Skaven for RTQC Chronic, Freddie Mercury with the Coast, Lauren with Norska, RTQC with Fallen with Skaven, Energized with Blizzardman, Sim with Dark Elves, Warisha with Norska, Nefergoth with Norska, Sarmatian with the Wood Elves, Geraldo with the Lizardmen, Suspicious One, get your faction entered in there, Satencia with Dark Elves, Furiosa with Dwarves, Pippington with Lizardmen, Manbreed with Chaos. Hey, the first Chaos we've seen all time. Magic Knight with High Elf, Sladex with the Greenskins. God bless you, Sladex. A. Peter 777 with the Dowie, Archon Lenoir with Vampire Counts, Saddle with Norska. Alright, cool. You made a coded list. Feel free to post it in there. Yeah, thank you, sir. I start adding that to my tournaments moving forward. Boom. But in any case, where was I? Saddle with Norska, Hadvar with Dowie, Pugnobon with Tomb Kings, Felcon with Lizardman, and Wes Pig Gulk with Empire. We'll see if Felcon can do what he did in the King of the Hill the other night. Alright, so here we go. Refreshing. I'm going to give you guys 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. More. Alright, so Dimmy Annihilation. I'm sorry, my friend. I'm going to remove you from the tournament. Pharaoh of War, my fellow clanmate, I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to remove you from the tournament. People, please get in the habit of signing up with your faction. Cool Roko, a very noble adversary I faced in the Korean Master League tournament. You didn't add it in there. I'm sorry, man. Gotta get your faction in there. We have Demandred, another player I really like a lot. I'm sorry, Demandred. You gotta get in there. And I'm checking the chat too to make sure I'm not like missing them desperately saying, no, let me know. But yeah, Demandred, I'm sorry, goodbye. From there, looks like we're doing well. Norska, what else? Suspicious One. Suspiciously, you have not entered in a faction. When the cursor hovered over your name, you're terrified. And I think that's it, guys. Sweet. So, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to shuffle the seeds, so nobody has to worry about being counterpicked. Boomed. Continue shuffling. We're going over here to the bracket. Process check-in results. We got 48 out of 51 players checked in on time. And then let's start the tournament. Boom, boom, boom. And we'll go from there. Okay, let's start with the High Elf Army first. And it's going to consist of 3 Swordmasters of Hoeth, 2 White Lines of Trace, 2 Spearmen, what appears to be 2 Silver Helms, and the Fireborn Dragon Princess along with Alariel up in the air. She will have Alarian Reavers in the flanks, vanguarded, and then we're going to have Alariel with the Star of Too Much Healing, as well as Earthblood. Now, Greenskin's going to pop a big, fat Trixie traps around good old Skarsnik, and now they're diving forward, and we have a bunch of hidden trolls, squigs, a queen, along with Skarsnik, and a Goblin Night Shaman. Going to be bringing Itchy Nuisance and Vindictive Glare. We got Night Goblins over here, being the Regiment Renown, 8 Peak Loonies, as well as the Rusty Airs. And here we go. Also on the flanks, you'll see the Greenskins bringing in a wide flanking force of Squig Hoppers. We also have an Orc Shaman Vanguard deployed back here, or hidden back here with Foot of Orc on top of him for the late game, perhaps. And it looks like the Greenskins are going for a big left flank, while the High Elves are going for a big left flank of their own with their Illyrian Reavers and Silver Helms. But now the front lines have met, and it's time to see who will come out on top between this elite High Elf infantry and these Greenskin trolls and squigs. The Night Goblin Shaman did shoot Alariel, and fortunately for Alariel, it looked like it didn't fully connect. Some of those shots are grazing off and going off into the distance. Over here, it does look like the Spearmen and White Lines of Trace are going to be able to take out the Night Goblin Squig Hoppers. And over here, there's a lot of damage on the Squig Hoppers so far. and a lot of them are starting to wear down and waver. But the trolls are still doing good on health, and they've done quite a lot of damage to the Swordmasters of Hoeth, but in come some mean rear charges from these Illyrian Reavers, but the trolls going in for a counter charge of their own, and they can do a ton of work with that high armor piercing damage. Right now we're going to see the Star of Avalon go down, but it's only affecting this one unit of Swordmasters of Hoeth, and nobody else is getting healed by this. So I have to say the placement there a bit problematic for that heal. Only really getting minimal heals done on one unit. So, but looking across the battlefield now, the High Elves have really started swinging the balance of power in their favor, and the Greenskins are going to need to do some crazy regrouping if they're hoping to bring this back into the fight, but it doesn't look like they're going to be able to do that without leadership. Over here we do see the Orc Shaman getting chased down, or actually not anymore, by Alariel. So No Foot of Gork going to be coming down here, but we see Skarsnik is healthy, popping another Wa. The Arachnarok Queen is healthy but low on leadership. But we do start seeing the Greenskin forces regrouping around the peripheries of the battlefield. Trolls especially we have to keep an eye on because they're high on model counts. They will regenerate a lot of that health. Arachnarok Queen's leadership looking a little bit better right now with the Wa being popped. Alariel diving in, trying to help out. But Skarsnik does have a lot of defense, so he can sit in there and take quite a lot of damage. And I mean, look, leadership starting to go down on some of these silver helms and stuff in the combat. The Arachnarok Queen actually doing okay for now. And here's going to come a big old charge from the trolls, getting in on top of those units and starting to force the High Elves to turn around to protect their rears. And here comes some more trolls too if they get microed in there. But uh-oh, these guys are going to take a mean rear charge. Probably going to start routing shortly thereafter. But the High Elves have gone for an elite infantry build, not something you usually see factions do successfully against the Greenskins because of the fact that Greenskins' infantry is so strong itself. In come the High Elves, Arachnarok Queen getting more and more surrounded. You're going to see the Night Goblin Shaman trying to pull out of here. The Fireborn are coming in for a big charge to take out these trolls, and the Fireborn are going to be so powerful against trolls. With that flame damage, the trolls do have a negative 22% damage debuff against fire damage, so very useful unit for taking down those regenerating units. Arachnarok Queen coming over here, trying to do more damage, but I think at this point the writing is going to be on the wall. The Goblet, yeah, the Orc Shaman is still getting chased down by Alariel. Maybe if he got one big Foot of Gork off here in an opportune moment, he could pull this battle back in his favor with the Arachnarok Queen, but yeah, there's just too much infantry on the field for Skarsnik and the Queen to take out by themselves. And I think that's going to be it. There we go, army loss is going to be kicking in. And we're going to see that first game go to Slade X. And, or wait, did I do that backwards? Yeah, I put Mucub as High Elves. That's not what he should have been. I put them both as High Elves, to be honest. I like Black Horse against High Elves on occasion. Yeah, I love this. I love that Greenskin army. I like this army a lot, but wait a minute. So no, I got wait. So Mucub won. I don't know why I said Slade X. So Mucub going to win that first best of one we're going to watch here. Let's give him the score. Now, looking at the battle here, this is not an army I would have expected from either player. Both of them bringing kind of strange armies for the matchup. Usually you see some terror focus from the High Elves, some chariot play. I like this, a heavy infantry build with some cavalry to support, including light cab, some good solid medium cavalry, and then the heavy fireborn with their bonus versus large. Over here, I really like Slade's army. I think the one thing I would critique is bring those gobos, bring those meat shields. If you had 5 gobos and got rid of, I don't know, a squig herd, and one of these squig hoppers or one of these trolls, I think having the meat shield would make this army so much better, just so the Arachnarok Queen had stuff to work with. Granted, Gobos won't last too long against Swordmasters of Hoeth, but they're only 300 and 120 models, so in my experience with trolls and stuff, I think you gotta get that meat shield in there. But Sladex, one of the best greenskin players out there, so let's go and find another map, or another match, guys. Alright guys, and look at that, we're loading into it already. How exciting. Let's get this army blocker off the screen, as well as my camera, and we'll load right into troll country here. Still surprised you're in the top 16? Well, Move Hacker, it's because you keep playing in the tournaments, and even though you haven't won them, like, you're still winning, usually, like, from what I've seen in the tournament so far, you're usually winning a match or two before you get knocked out, so if you play in all of them, the consistency helps your seeding. Trolls let you down. Sladex, it was a beautiful build and a beautiful play. Like, you had the balance of power heavily in your favor in the beginning there. I think there was just a key moment when there started to be some routing trolls, and then the terror kicked in, and well, not terror, but the rout kicked in, and the balance swung towards the high elves again, and I think he was just able to really capitalize on his fast cavalry around the map chasing down the trolls. Shetland Apache is going to be a Move Hacker's hammer or anvil bear. You heard it here first, chat. I mean, Shetland, you're gonna get so ripped. You're gonna be so swole if you become an anvil bear for a Move Hacker, or for anybody really. Those big old anvils seem heavy. Oh, God damn my wrist. Needed to sneak that foot in. I saw you, Sladex. I saw you. I was really hoping we would see something like that. Not because I was like being biased, because clearly I'm an impartial third party here, but I was hoping we would see some mean-footed Gork action. But in any case, let's take out these two armies. So we got the Lizardmen being brought by Merkvior. Sorry if I'm pronouncing that horribly. He's going to have 2 units of Salamander Hunting Pack. Other than that, he's going to have some Kroxigor. He's going to have the Star Guardians Temple Guard. He's going to have Source Warriors with Shield, and he's going to have 3 of them. He's going to have a unit of Red-Crested Skinks, as well as 2 units of Skink Cohort. Aside from this, we will have a leadership squad consisting of a beautiful, beautiful Lord Krolk. Lord Krolk, popular at the moment, and a very powerful Lord. When it comes to generating that magic, and his abilities can really crush units. So we got Supreme Shield of the old ones, as well as Greater Arcane Conduit on top of him. And now we got the Blueberry Slan here. Went to Willy Wonka's factory and ate too much of that candy. We got Banishment bound to him, Shield of the old ones, as well as Aura of Quetzal, with Blood Statue of Spite, Curse the Midnight Wind, Wind Blast, as well as Greater Arcane Conduit as well. Now, that rounds out this army, so let's go take a look at the Beastmen being brought here by Iron Thunder. Now, Iron Thunder will have 2 units of Centaurs with great weapons. He's then going to have 3 units of Razor Gore and 3 units of Centaurs with throwing axes. He will have a front line consisting of 4 Ungor Spearmen, and then we will be seeing the Koroks Manrippers, Regiment Renowned Bestigor herd with their halberds. For the leadership here, we do have a Brave Shaman of Death with Fate of Buna, Spirit Leech, as well as the Jagged Dagger and Life Leeching. And then we're going to have Morgor the Shadow Gave over here with both of his summons, as well as Call of Violence with Foe Seeker. Now, I do believe that is the remainder of both forces. One of those great weapon Centaurs will be the Sons of Goros. Magic dealing, Guardian trait. Magic damage, Guardian trait, Regiment Renowned Centaurs are great weapons. Whew, that's a mouthful. Alright, let's actually swap this. Blue on the left, eh? So, here we go. Front lines going out towards each other. We're going to see who wins. Okay, so look at this. We got the Salamander Hunting Pack getting a rear charge right now from the Centaurs of Great Weapons, and the Centaurs of Great Weapons are going to be doing some nice damage, but they're taking damage in return, and I'd like to see them get out of here. And now that Shield of the Old Ones is on, they should be preventing a lot of that damage. However, alright, there we go. Centaur's pulling out at about half health, so it's going to be, honestly, an even trade there. Salamander Hunting Pack taking about half damage, but now the Centaurs of Great Weapons taking a ton of damage on the retreat. Looking over here at the mainline engagements, we got our Skink cohort duking it out with some Ungor Spearmen. Koroks Man Rippers going in there, and now look at this. We have the Razor Gore Herd diving in, trying to stay on top of this infantry and help out the Ungor Herd in their fight. But with the Star Chamber Guardians there, I don't think these Razor Gore Herd are going to do very well. Coming further down the line, we're going to see a big banishment right down on top of the Koroks Man Rippers, doing a lot of damage, but now it is going into the Lizardman forces in turn. And look at all the damage. Look, that red-crested skink unit just had it go completely over it. And so in spite of doing a lot of damage to the Beastmen initially, it kind of backfired, and look at all that damage. Supreme Shield of the Old Ones going down, helping protect these guys from some more damage. But yeah, over here, Razor Gore Herd diving in, trying to support these Ungor Herd, Spearman Herd. A Wind Blast coming down here, doing a good bit of damage on those Ungor Spearmen. And yeah, I mean, at this point, the Lizardmen are looking like they're in a pretty strong spot, but we do see that Lord Krolk has taken a lot of damage, and the Sons of Goros are still very, very healthy. These guys are going to be a threatening unit in the late game. Over here, I did hear that Fate of Buna. Where'd that go? Oh, it's on top of the Star Chamber Guardians. Fate of Buna going down, doing a ton of really big damage. And now we're going to see the Slann Mage Priest getting surrounded by a lot of units, and Chaos Bond being summoned on top of him. He's going to be popping Shield with the Old Ones, but he's taking a ton of damage right now. And the Beastmen are really starting to pull this back into their corner, seeing the extra Chaos Bond summon coming down too at the same time. And wow, Kroxigors coming in to help support, but I don't know how these Kroxigors are going to fare against Chaos Bond interdispersed with the Sons of Goros. But there, look at the damage going in. Lord Krolk putting down one of his mean explosions. Even a charred circle in the ground from its impact. But this Slann Mage Priest of Heavens is not looking good, and he's down to 1,600 health points almost. R of Quetzal going down here, increasing his melee defense and armor. That should help for a bit. And now the Star Guardians are coming in here to try and help out Star Chamber Guardians with their magical damage. And their Guardian trait coming in here, but Slann Mage Priest is in a bad place, and he's already routing. If somebody starts chasing, he'll be off for good. Razor Gore Herd diving back into combat. And yeah, I don't know. The Lizardman options are starting to run a little thin, but we do still see Kroak here. He is unbreakable. And we still see some Kroxigors and Lizardman infantry over on this side of the fight. Alright, Spirit Leech going to be going down on top of Lord Krolk. This Bray Shaman of Death going to continue just casting those down, and I'm sure once he has enough magic, maybe he'll use another Fate of Being on top of that Star Chamber Guardian, since they are such a tough unit for the Beastmen to take out. How much health do you have, Mr. Blueberry Slann? 566. Yeah, even this meager Bray Shaman on the Chariot should be able to kill him off. 459 now, getting the Poison Warhounds on top of him to slow him down and prevent him from running away. Over here, though, we are going to see Lord Krolk coming in for some combat, standing up, throwing magical power out of his ethereal spirit, and just wrecking these beastmen. Maybe he will deliver the Lizardmen from defeat. I don't know. We're seeing a lot of Lizardmen infantry holding strong. Beastmen infantry is starting to wear down. Morgor the Shadow Gave is down to about a third of health, but look at this, a Spirit Leech coming in, and Lord Krolk is really getting low here. 466 for his HP. He is unbreakable, so the Beastmen have to kill him off completely, but at this point I have no doubt that they can do it. The throwing axes are starting to come in. Lord Kroll putting up a noble effort. And will fight to the bitter end, but yeah, he's going to go down for the count. And that's going to be a very good game to the Beastmen. So Iron Thunder showing that it's not a completely hopeless matchup as long as you know what you're doing. Lord Kroll is going to give up the ghost. Iron played that very, very well. Put pressure in the places he needed to. Liked that game. 109 kills on Ungor Spearman. It's disgusting. Wow, what were they doing? Excuse me. I had a late night. So, Lord Croak, 79 kills. Being the MVP in terms of kill count here so far. He got the most kills out of anybody. I have to say, I love the Lizardmen a lot now that they have these new units. Their armies are a lot more interesting to me. But beautifully played by Iron Thunder. He put the pressure on the Salamanders immediately. I think recognizing the danger of their fireballs on top of his small infantry contingent. For instance, if they just unloaded all of their ammunition on top of these Koroks Man Rippers, they could probably kill them before they get into combat. So I think he targeted and prioritized units well. And then especially the pressure he put on that Slann Mage Priest in the mid-game towards the end game. That really set the pace for the battle. From there, it seemed like the Lizardmen were a bit off balance, constantly trying to figure out how to save their lord rather than execute their strategy. So, well played to Iron Thunder, keeping its opponent on his toes. Let's go ahead and take off that browser capture, as well as our army blocker and my ugly mug. And we can go ahead and give that music a pause, too. So, here we are. Battle of the Karens is the map. Celebrity Deathmatch Nation. I'm basing endless stacks of missile cap. Alright, so for our red player, we have Moose Warlord. He's going to have 2 units of Coldbone Riders and make that 3 units of Coldbone Riders. He's going to have the Red Crested Skink Regiment Renown, the cohort of Sotek. He is also going to have 5 units of Saurus Warriors with Shields, 4 units of Skink Cohort, and then for the Leadership and Monsters, let's go over it. We're going to have a Skink Priest of Heavens. Skink Priest of Heavens is going to have nothing but Wind Blast. We're also going to have a Skink Priest of Beast. Skink Priest of Beast is going to have, what I'm guessing is going to be Transformation of Kadan. No, Flock of Doom. Okay, just Flock of Doom. We're going to have a Feral Carnosaur over here on the far right flank of the Lizardmen forces, supporting their heavy cab contingent of Coldbone Riders. And then last but definitely not least, we're going to have their Lord Saurus Oldblood on foot. He is going to be bringing in Stand Your Ground, as well as the Horn of Kygor, Amulet of Itzel, and Foe Seeker. So Amulet of Itzel, a one-time 66% ward save. Now, let's go ahead and check out our blue player, Chronix Skaven army. I do love me some Skaven, so let's see how he decides to approach this battle. So, looking at the infantry, we're going to have some Skaven slaves, of course, 2 of them. We are going to have 5 units of Clan Rats, all of them with shields up front. We're going to have 3 units of Clan Rat Spears behind. We are also going to have up front a unit of Doom Flayers. He is then going to have 2 units of Warlock Giselles, one of them being Natty Boo Boo Sharpshooters. I love these guys. And then he's going to have some Rattling Guns weapons team on the far left flank of his firing line. Aside from this, we're going to see 4 units of Rat Ogres in the back line. And for leadership, it does appear we will see the Clan Vulcan Tail Slashers protecting Lord Scroll, Liber Babonicus, Rod of Corruption, Stand Your Ground, Pestilent Birth, Vermintide, as well as Pestilent Breath, all going to be on top of him. So, I like this Skaven army. The Rattling Guns can slow the enemy dinos down with their suppression fire, which you can see right here, minus 36% speed. And that will allow these Warlock Giselles to get as much damage done as possible. And immediately going to start opening up fire. I'm not doing the most damage initially with these shielded infantry units, but I'm sure they'll start switching up targeting and stuff once they see the dinos come into range. So, here we go. Look at that Warplock Giselle's gonna go right after the Feral Carnosaur. It's already rampaging and it's coming straight for these Doom players. And wow, we're gonna have to see the Lizardman use a cold-blooded really quick here. Otherwise, yep, there goes the cold-blooded. That Feral Carnosaur needs to start moving around and get out of there, because look at the damage it will take already just from a few seconds of sustained fire. It hasn't even been a minute yet. Front lines are beginning to meet. We're gonna see the red-crested skinks diving into these clan rats and then taking a rod of corruption in return as they dive in here. But we're also seeing the Libra Babonicus going down on top of the skink Priest of Heavens, and it's just melting away its health. I love it. Skrull deciding, like, screw it, I'm using Libra Babonicus to absolutely just delete the skink Priest of Heavens, so I don't need to worry about Wind Blast this whole battle. I think that's a very wise decision. Looking over here, the Lizardmen are going wide on the flanks. Skaven wisely pulling back their units, but they need to turn around, otherwise they're just going to get rear charged like that, and then the Rat Ogres can dive into support. But Skaven doing a good job of using these Rat Ogres to protect their back lines, and the Lizardmen seem to be struggling to get the full surround done. Skaven controlling some key choke points with their cheaper infantry. Over here, it looks like the Rattlin Gun team may be targeting the Soros Old Blood, based on the fact that it's missing miserably, which I would like to see some, different targeting there with the Rattling Gun team. Also, looking around the map, I guess I missed the Carnosaur dying, because, yeah, there's the Carnosaur dead as a doornail. There we go, Pestilent Breath coming through here on top of these Saurus Warriors with shields. Not going to do the most damage against them with their high armor. But now look at it, looks like the Lizardmen have started getting their hands in the proverbial cookie jar. Natty Boo with sharpshooters starting to take some damage. The Rattling Gunners and the Warplock Giselles desperately trying to run away from Saurus Warriors with shields. And over here, the Lizardmen have completely run into the bottleneck. And these Clan Rat Spears are like MVPs, holding back so many units and dishing out damage while they're desperately trying to pull through. Over here, continue back on into the mainline engagements. The Lizardmen are just looking worn down in a few places, but then again, the battle line is very messy at the moment, and the Skaven aren't going to have an easy time protecting their missile units from all of the Lizardmen that are coming around the flanks, which includes these Coldhorn Riders, apparently. Have they been able to pull through? No, he's going to be leaving about half of his units behind, desperately trying to pull through these Spearmen, but it's just not working out for him. But the other half of them are going to dive in onto these Rattling Gunners and do quite a lot of damage on that charge. They only need about half their models, but they can still do a lot of damage. Clan Rat Spears diving into support. Over here, Libra Babonicus going down on top of the Saurus Old Blood. He's taking quite a lot of damage, and it looks like we're going to see Lord Skrulk even coming in for a piece of him. Since he's got his Clan Rats and Rat Ogres nearby, he's feeling confident, I suppose. Saurus Old Blood is laying down, not feeling the best. But yeah, looking around the battlefield, the bounce power is going to be continuing to go in the Skaven favor as the leadership for the Lizardmen continues to suffer. And although you see a lot of routing Skaven on the field, it's important to remember that that's kind of just what Skaven do. They route, they come back, they route, they come back. But looking across the field, there's a lot of red units that are wavering, that are routing, and that I just can't really see them bringing this back. Especially now that the Skink Priest over here is getting compromised by some Rat Ogres. Good Flock of Doom coming down before he got knocked over. Saurus Old Blood over here. Leadership is getting low, and looks like army losses are going to kick in, and that's going to be a GG to Chronic, winning that against Moose Warlord. Boom, boom, boom. Good game to both players. Very nice, H45, congrats. Yeah, H45, you can post them in my Discord, and I will cast them before my regular streams throughout the week. So, yeah, go to my Discord, and under the tournament section, you'll see battle replays. You can post them there. Yeah, he took both, but Skrulk used Libra Babonicus to cancel the Lore of Heavens immediately. Like Lord of Heavens came in there, Skrull used one Liber Botanicus, and the Skink Priest was just disappeared. I think he got one Wind Blast off. So Skrull, really good targeting from Chronic here, recognizing the threat of Wind Blast left unchallenged. So I really like that pick of Liber Botanicus on top of that Skink Priest. And then also this poor Feral Carnosaur just got shot so quickly, just got killed mercilessly by these Warplock Giselles. Yeah, Cook goes inside of Carno. I could agree with that. Great game to both players there. Okay, let's go and get this army blocker down. As well as this. I'm trying to look for where Kark was on this battle map. Gotcha, Kark. I will take a look into that. I see that. I'm sorry that I missed that so hard, Kark, and I didn't see your message till later because, yeah, now it's already like way past the point, but I will watch the replay and get back to you. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and cast this battle just because, yeah, that guy also got knocked out right after you played him, so I apologize for the delay and getting back to you, Kark. My apologies. But without further ado, we have the Dark Elves here, being brought by Sentencia. He's going to have a front line that consists of 4 Bleak Swords, 4 Bleak Swords, 2 Dread Spears. He's going to have a healthy Cav contingent consisting of Cold One Dread Knights, rounding it out at 3 of those, one of them being the Knights of the Ebon Claw, as well as 1 Cold One Knight on the far right flank with the with the anti-large bonus. He's going to have 2 Dark Shards, both of them with shields. Their silver shields very useful. And then from there, we are going to see some Cold One Chariots and Malekith, it would appear, atop of his Cold One Chariot. He's going to have Gaze of Malice with Stand Your Ground, as well as Soul Stealer, Chillwind with Power of Darkness. Now, for our High Elf forces, we're going to see 5 unit of High Elf Spearmen. He's going to have 2 units of Dragon Princes with a Mage of Life, Regrowth, Earthblood, and Book of Hoeth on top of them with Life Bloom. We're going to have 4 Archers, and we're going to have up in the air Black Phillip with a Prince on top of a Star Dragon. Going to be bringing nothing but the Blade of Belcord Hydris, and that should round out the 2 forces. And here we go. Battle getting underway now. Alright, here we go. So front line's coming together. We're going to see the Dark Elf Chariots pushing forward and pulling back. As it appears, the High Elf Archers are trying to fire at them in return. Dark Shards are coming forward, and I have to say these Dark Shards, even though they have those silver shields, I think 2 High Elf Archers assigned to each of them are going to make quick work of these guys. Already pretty low on health, down about a quarter. I can't imagine they're going to survive too many more rounds from those Archers. Meanwhile, the Dark Elves are keeping their Cav secure, playing it safe with them. I like the patience. Gaze of Malice going down, doing some good damage against those High Elf Archers. And we're going to see them continue to just pulverize these poor Dark Shards. Dark Shards just not having a good time. They're completely outranged by High Elf Archers. And they're not going to be fast enough to run away too, so they're just going to be getting shot in the back. Meanwhile, looks like both sides continuing to play it very cautiously with their Cav. The High Elves have pulled out their Dragon Princes from the forest, so the Dark Elves are now reacting, it would seem, but I would like to see a bit more of an aggressive play from the Dark Elf Cavalry, because right now he's allowed these High Elf Archers to set the pace of the entire battle. These High Elf Archers have just been having their way, and I really would have liked to have seen some of this pressure dedicated towards getting back on top of these Archers, or maybe even sacrifice one of the Cold One Dread Knights to bring some Dark Riders or something with a bit more mobility. Checking out the other side of the battlefield, though, we do see a big Soul Stealer coming down from Malekith on top of both of these Dragon Princes, as the Cold One Dread Knights and the Cold One Knights are staying in combat with them. Earthblood going down to try and counteract that. and it's going to be keeping him pretty healthy here. Meanwhile, in the backlines, we do see that the Cold One Chariot has gotten into the archers and is doing quite a lot of damage, while the Dark Shards, who took a lot of damage initially, but they kept some good models, were able to pull back, and now they're in a very advantageous position for the backlines, where they're dishing out a lot of damage on top of these Dragon Princes. I really like that he was able to retreat in an organized fashion and get these guys back on track, but watch out, they may be taking some arrows to the side if they're not careful. Over here, going to see a chill wind hit these guys again. Dragon Prince is starting to look pretty worse for a bit worse for wear. These Dragon Prince is taking a lot of damage from the Dark Shards. We will see if they can get on top of them and shut them down first, but it looks like they're actually going to pull back for a second and allow the Dark Shards to get a little bit more time shooting him in the face. Cold One Dread Knight's coming in, doing a lot of work. Looks like a regrowth is about to go down on top of him, but going to be canceled. And yeah, interesting. Coming back over to this side of the fight, we're going to see it looks like the Dark Elves are finally going to come out on top here. One Dragon Prince routing, the other one about to rout. And yeah, just really good cav engagement for the Dark Elves here. They're able to win it out after some hard fighting. And that's going to really shift the balance, because now look at this. Dragon Princes are all dealt with. These guys basically no health, getting chased down. These guys getting chased down. And these guys are still here, and they have some decent models, so we'll see if the Dark Elves can take care of them. But without any mobility, the High Elves will not be able to protect these archers. And by archers, I mean there aren't really any archers right now. They're already getting chased down by the Chariot. So in spite of a rough start with some mean archer play from the High Elves, it looks like our Dark Elf player, Sentencia, is really starting to bring this back in his favor. Yeah, one of the Dark Shards going to shatter. The other one is terrified, should come back at some point, but now we have a Star Dragon coming to dive into Malekith, and a big hit, and another big hit. Malekith down to half health, and he's going to use a Soul Stealer immediately. Good call. Got to get that Soul Stealer going, get the health coming back up. He's popping a good old-fashioned stand your ground to get his melee defense up as well. And now these Cold One Dread Knights are going to be chasing down this dragon, but the dragon luckily able to get back up in the air. So a very, very close fight right now, guys. I mean, it's giving the Dark Elves the edge and the balance of power, but they only have one Dark Shard left. And other than that, they have a lot of cavalry. And although the cavalry is going to be very, very useful here in keeping the dragon in place, Star Dragons are so tough, as you just saw. With just a little bit of effort, they can dish out a ton of damage. And, you know, if he gets some ideal charges placed, get some key terror routes at an ideal time, he could very well win this. Right now, we're going to see the Cold One Knights diving in on top of the Mage of Life. Star Dragon diving in, going to cause him a rampage immediately. And these guys won't last very long. And look, more Cold One Dread Knights coming into combat too. Some Dragon Princes coming over to help. And balance of power is getting more and more in favor of the High Elves. But I definitely agree with this decision to pull out. You don't want to waste any of the cavalry you have when your opponent does have the terror advantage. Because let us not forget, Dark Elves have nothing to cause terror here. The High Elves do, and terror is a very powerful tool in the late game battles. And I've seen people come back from bigger deficits than this and win a game. Earthblood going down. It's going to miss the Prince, which is actually a pretty big deal. The Prince needs to get healed up. He's at 3,100 health points, so relatively healthy, but just really don't want him to have low leadership if you get surrounded. I don't really agree with targeting Malekith unless he's already pinned in place, because, I mean, honestly, one of those Bretts and boom, you can kill this whole blob of Dark Elves and just have your way with them. Over here, diving into the Knights of the Ebon Claw, getting some mean damage on those rear charges, and dishing out some massive damage. Here comes the rest of the Dark Elf Cavalry, though, and oh, he's going to do one of those instant takeoffs, lucky for the Star Dragon. And you see, this is what I mean. Imagine if he had a breath right here. The Dark Elves would have to think twice about diving into this High Elf Mage. But yeah, looking across the field, it's the Mage and the Star Dragon versus the Dark Elves. And the Star Dragon, the Prince, dishing out a ton of damage against Malekith. So
Curious to see. Malekith looks like he's committed to staying in the fight. And then he's like, nah, just kidding. I'm not committed. We're going to send in my Velociraptor Knights. But yeah, with that, I think it's the writing's on the wall. There's missile fire from the Dark Shards that will come in. Malekith is going to block him, hold him in place. But, oh man, is Malekith going to go down with this Prince? Look at him. Malekith's so low on health. But a good game to both players there, Black Phillip and Sentencia. Sentencia going to take it home, though. You would say you would put up a fierce resistance? Hell yes, Armation. You can go watch my King of the Hill replay. I beat Falcon's Lizardman with Skaven first match for my warm-up, and then he went undefeated for 3 hours. But at like the very end of the stream, one of the last battles is I played Greenskins against his Lizardman, and I thought it was fairly close. I was able to kill Mazda Mundi, which I was happy about. Mazda Mundi on Slack is no easy target to kill. So I killed the Mazda Mundi and got the Ancient Stegodon Regiment Renown down below half health. So to me, that was close. Even though I'm sure to him, he was like, oh, I still got this. The entire way, not doubting it. To me, I was like, I've almost got this. I'm killing in one unit. Yeah, this matchup is very mean versus Greenskins. It's a tough one. So I proved your point. Yeah, fair enough, Formation. I put up a fierce resistance and then I died. Well, hey, you know, Vicious Satsuma's probably a better player than me, so let's see what he does here. But looking at Falcon's army, we're going to have what appears to be 4 Skink Cohort with Javelins. He's going to have 4 Saurus Warriors with Shields and 1 unit of Temple Guard. Other than this, we're going to have an Ancient Salamander down here on the ground, along with a Bastillodon with a Solar Engine. We're then going to have the Thunderous One, Ancient Stegodon, Regiment of Renown. And then we got Mazda Mundi here with Banishment, Shield of the Old Ones, Apotheosis, Curse of the Midnight Wind, Harmonic Convergence, Nut of a Mintok, and Sunburst Standold Exodal, and Greater Arcane Conduit. Now, for the Greenskins, we've got Vicious Satsuma. He's got 3 Gobble Wolf Riders up front, 1 being the Mogram's Mage Marauders, Regiment Renown with that armor piercing. He's going to have 5 units of Gobbo Spears. I love this. Gobbos are such a wonderful unit, and I love that he has a large number. It's only going to cost him 1,500 points, and it's going to get him a hell of a lot of models and meat cushion. Now he's going to have the Warlord's Boys and the 8 Peak Loonies, both Regiment Renowned Night Goblins. He's going to have 1 unit of Trolls, because you need that mass to help slow down those dinos. He's going to have the Forest Goblin Spider Riders with a Goblin Big Boss on a Wolf. And then he's going to have Warzag over here with Effigy to get what appears to be Wah. Here we go. Brainburster, Gaze of Mork, Bonewood Staff, and Squiggly Beast. Now, for the final part of the army, we're going to have the Night Goblin's Shaman here with what appears to be Itchy Nuisance, I believe. Yeah, Itchy Nuisance. And then 2 Arachnarok Spiders, 1 being the Regiment Renowned Queen and 1 being the default version. I love this army, and I'm curious to see how it does. He's going full Monster Mash. Against the Lizardmen. I think it will be a rough matchup, just because I think the Lizardman infantry is going to come out on top here. But good luck, have fun to both players. So here we go. The Lizardmen pushing forward. And fortunately, the Greenskins and the Lizardmen starting on the same side of the map, just having a gentleman's agreement as fellow Greenskins. I guess the Lizardmen are more bluish in tint than green. Solar Engine to fire away, hit the Mogram's Magi Marauders. And it seems to me that Falcon is going to play it content with forcing the Greenskins to him. Well done. That Solar Engine is doing some mean damage, forcing the Greenskins to him. Mogram's Magi Marauders. A very important unit, so looks like we're going to be seeing Vicious pulling it out for now, and I would love to see him. Ooh, pull him out of firing range so he doesn't lose any models. Because in the late game, you're going to need that armor piercing. But right now, the Arachnarok Queen, the Spider Queen, is taking quite a lot of damage. Don't like seeing her take so much damage so early on. And now we're going to see the Ancient One Stegodon diving in here to help duke it out with her. And the Arachnarok Queen will probably want to be pulling out of there. Wah is going to be popped. And here comes the charge. Gabo's diving in. Queens on both sides of the map. One of them queens, though, is taking a ton of damage, and she needs to get out of there. Get out of there. Go, go, go. Because if she starts routing the wrong way, then there'll be hell to pay, because she will not be coming back. Okay, over here we do see Wurzag diving into combat. We see what appears to be a banishment over there. And the Arachnarok Queen here is going to start routing just like that. Trolls over here also routing from Terror. And the Ancient Stegodon has not taken any damage, but both of the spiders have taken quite a lot of damage. And I have to say, things aren't looking too great in this very initial engagement for the Greenskins. And now we are going to see, oh no, the Thunderous One and Mazdamundi both diving down on top of Wurzag. Wurzag is taking a lot of damage, and yeah, this is looking pretty rough for the Greenskins in these initial engagements. The infantry of the Greenskins was never meant to be the killing power, so it is holding well overall, all things considered, especially with support from these missile cav units. Coming back over here to the right flank of the Greenskins, we're going to see Effigy to get going down on top of the Thunderous One. And now we're seeing a lot of Gabo infantry diving in here and meat shielding, and that's why the Gabo infantry is so important, is it is taking up space and preventing these units from easily coming over here to help the Ancient Stegodon. And now, look at this. We're getting the Night Goblins, we got ourselves some Goblins, as well as the Arachnarok Queen and Trolls, all hitting on top of this Thunderous One, doing quite a lot of damage. And now we're going to see the Arachnarok Spider, the non-queen, coming over here, trying to duke it out with these guys, while everybody is staying on top of the Thunderous One. We're going to see Here We Go being popped, really buffing up that melee attack of all the units nearby. And yeah, I mean, that Thunderous One is just so damn tough, though. This Spider is going to start routing once again. We're going to see the shield of the old ones going down, increasing the leadership and damage resistance of everyone nearby. And there's some Temple Guard diving in to assist in this combat. So this is a monster dino mash to be sure, but the spiders are just taking a lot of damage. The the Thunderous One, I thought would take a lot of damage there, getting singled out like that, but no could do. Greenskins are starting to route off this way, but what I like here is that all of these units will start regrouping. I'd like to see the Trolls take maybe a little break, regenerate some health. Oh, Fireball coming in from the Ancient Salamander, doing quite a lot of damage to Wurzag and Spleenripa. And there goes another shot from the Distillodon with the Solar Engine. Oh, Gaze of Mort going down against Lord Mazdamundi, not doing the most damage. And now we're going to see Wurzag begin to route. And he's routing towards the Lizardman for some reason. I don't know why. He doesn't want to be running in that direction, that's for damn sure. So doing some good damage, but just not enough. I mean, the Ancient Salamander looks like it may be able to be taken care of, but with the Solar Engine, the Ancient Stegodon, as well as Mazdamundi are all still very, very healthy at this stage of the battle. So I have my doubts about the Lizardman being able to, the Greenskins being able to pull this out. But just as I say that, got a lot of missile cav here. Two of them with decent ammo firing in on top of these dinos and wearing down their health. We got a Spider in combat here. We have the Goblin Big Boss as well as the Night Goblin War Boss. Temple Guard are starting to waver and potentially rout. So, you know, the Greenskins are regrouping over here, but oh no. Sad day for the Greenskins as Spleenripa and Wurzag get shot in the back by a Solar Engine. And I think army losses will kick in from there. And we'll probably be seeing Falcon take this victory away. GG to both players, but yeah, Falcon's Lizardman, so strong. So strong. Yeah, Thunderous one is insane. Yeah, as soon as the spider rushed in, that was, I think, the first mistake. Is when it comes to your spiders and stuff, at that point, I don't think there was anything rushing him. There was fireballs, there was a solar engine. So I can understand some of the pressure from these three pieces, which are all basically artillery. This is long-range artillery. These would be like mid-range, short-range artillery pieces. So I understand why you wanted to close the gap, but sending the queen and the spider ahead so far of the infantry, I think led to him taking a lot of really unnecessary damage early in the battle. But I get it. There's a lot of pressure coming in from the lizardmen from those three ranged monster units. So, yeah, well played to them. Both of them. Sarmation, it is calculated by every single... So, here you go, guys. Anybody who plays in a tournament that is linked to this challenge community, which is the HWT, so HW Tournament Community, anytime you play in one of my tournaments, it seeds you. And so basically, every time you play one of my tournaments, your rank will go up or down. And so people who have played once, for instance, and done really well, or somebody who's won, a tournament at some point, even if you haven't played in a lot of them, your rank could still be pretty high. So essentially, yeah, I'm just going off of what Challenge is saying and how it's ranking you guys. The leaderboards are pinned to my Discord under the player ranking subsection. So you can go in there to see your rank according to my tournaments too, just by checking out the Challenge page. In any case, let's go ahead and remove my face from this camera and get ready for the battle that's about to happen. Yeah, why the hell is he on it, Dark Ark? That's a good point. Why aren't you on it is the question. Fuck. Go back to Imperator, you noob. I'm just kidding. Alright, guys, so here we go. We got the Lizardman being brought by Falcon. The one, the only. He's a true badass. We got 2 units of Horned Ones on that flank, and then 1 more unit of Horned Ones and a Cold One Rider. So, got 2 units of Cav on either flank. We're going to have 2 units of Skink Cohort with Javelins, 2 units of regular old Skink Cohort. We're then going to have 2 red-crested Skinks, as well as a couple of Croc Sigor as well. Now, for the monsters and leadership, we are going to have a Skink Priest of Heavens. This little guy is going to be bringing nothing but Wind Blast and Harmonic Convergence. And then we've got Krokgar, or just kidding, Asaurus Old Blood, on top of a Carnosaur with the Horn of Kygor, Stand Your Ground, Amul Ibitzel, and that will be all. Now, let's go check out the opposing forces being brought by Chronic, a newer player. Well, I'm sure he's not new, he's been playing very well, but I haven't seen him in my tournaments before unless he changed his name. But bringing the Empire, one of my personal favorites, and he's going to have an infantry force that consists of, what is this, 1 spearman, or just kidding. So 4 units of Empire spearmen, 2 units of halberdiers. He's then going to have the Sigmar's son, the Regiment Renowned Unbreakable Swordsman. Aside from that, he's going to have some missile forces in the form of 2 handguns, one of them being the Silver Bullets. He will have Demogryph Knights with Halberd on the left flank, and then what appears to be another unit of Demogryph Knights on the right flank, being the Royal Altdorf Griffites Regiment Renowned. With these ones, we will see Karl Franz on a horse with Garl Maraz and the Reichland Runefang, Stand Your Ground, Foe Seeker, and Encourage. And then we will be seeing the Jade Wizard here with Regrowth, Earthblood, the Power Stone, and Life Bloom. Now, last but certainly not least, we got the Hammer of the Witches here to force the Lizardmen in. I love this artillery piece, does magical damage, and is very good against those dinos. So let's let the players know, good luck, have fun, and we'll get into it from here. You can't, Halcon? All right. I'll check it out after this. That is 3 horned ones and 1 cold one rider, friend. We're horned ones riding in on our velociraptors. Yeah, 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 yeah. that's a lot of Velociraptors. Falcon, look at that. I love the micro. Swerving them just ever so slightly to keep them hidden. And it looks like the Hammer of the Witch is going to be firing at the Saurus Old Blood, and I'm almost curious to see if when it misses, if it's just going to hit all of these horned ones behind him. Looks like he's going to think better of it. Yeah, okay. That one definitely got some connection, and he's going to have to be careful as he approaches these handgunners. Do not want to get caught in a crossfire there. For now, it looks like the Demogryph Knights have stopped being hidden, and these horned ones look like they're coming straight for him, but they're going to pull back, recognizing they are outmanned, out-lizarded, if you will. Going to pull the halberds out over here to help deflect the initial charge and have some meat shield for these Demogryph Knights. And he's also pulling the Royal Outdoor Cryptites over with Karl Franz, because Karl Franz popping the Garl Moraz and the Reichland Roomfang can really change it up. Over here, look at that. The handgun's getting devastated by a wind blast, going down to about a third of their health. And we're going to see the big charge coming in. Spearmen diving into Skink Cohort. Swordsman diving in here. And the Silver Bullets staying up a bit too far for my liking. I'd like to see them pull back just a bit. But over here, we're going to see the Lizardmen doing a great job getting across the front lines. The Empire infantry is just not going to be able to hold their own there. And you see the Croc Score diving in here too. And the Hammer of the Witches has immediately been shut down. I really would have liked to see that Hammer of the Witches a bit further back in his formation, because now it's not going to be firing. Over here, we're going to see what appears to be a big Earthblood, Garlmaraz, the Reichland Roomfang. Everything is popped at once. Demogryph Knights are all in here. We're going to see the Amulet of Itzel stand your ground, the Horde of Kygor, all this stuff coming in. Another Wind Blast coming in, knocking these halberdiers out of existence, terror routing them. And now the Empire has just lost their meat cushion, and the horned ones are surrounding them. There's so many Velociraptors in this mix, and the Demogryph Knights are routing and terrified. And we're going to see even more Cold One Riders coming around from the rear. And although Karl Franz did a ton of work to that Saurus Old Blood, now it is just him and the Jade Wizard stuck in a just huge bouquet of Velociraptors. So I don't think this is going to end well for the Empire at all at this point. Looking over here, you see Unbreakable Sigmar Sun staying strong, but the other units wavering. We're going to be routing soon. These halberdiers getting tied down by Skink Cohort with javelins, and these spearmen still duking it out with those Skink counterparts. But yeah, the Cav engagement has gone in the way of the Lizardmen. The Lizardmen now have the complete mobility advantage, and I think they can just set the pace for the rest of this battle. And we're going to be seeing these dinos running rampant across the battlefield. Here comes the Saurus Old Blood, probably looking to help with the terror routes. And yeah, at this point, I just really don't know what the Empire can do. Karl Franz is a badass, but he doesn't have the mass to pull through these Cav units, and now he's going to have a T-Rex jumping on top of him. Whoa, friend. You're a little bit vicious with the charge there. There we go, army losses kicking in, and Karl Franz is dead as a doornail. It's going to be a GG. Both players. Karl's like, get me the fuck out of here! Empire sandwich, nom nom. Demis versus Lizards. I bring one Demogryph Knight, and then I usually bring a Reichsguard or an Empire Knight. But yeah, it was a tough one. Yeah. Those Carnosaurs just tear up the Cav. Saturate with halberds and guns. I personally like Spearmen and Flagellants. I know Flagellants are really susceptible to skirmisher fire, but the Unbreakable Infantry just really helps Spearmen perform well. And I would go with the cheapest Spearman I can find. I don't spend the extra 75 for the shields here. But yeah, it was an impressive rush indeed. There's just big snakes down there.
due to stakes. So it makes sense. Lack of Sotek. What can rats do against such reckless piggies? Die! Yes, yes! That's what they could do. Alright, here we go. Taking a look at Falcon's army. With our blue player, we have the Beastmen. Looking at Angry Piggies, we got 2 of them. We are then going to have an ample number of Goreherd with shields, what appears to be 5 total, one of them being the Blackhorn's Ravagers. Aside from this, we will have a healthy number of Centaur as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4 units of Centaur. I like that. Centaur, not the armor-piercing variant. These guys can do a ton of damage to lightly armed units like the Skaven can bring to the field. We are then going to have 2 units of Ungor Raiders for that skirmishing power. And we will be seeing the Regiment Renowned Minotaurs with Shields, the Butchers of Kalkengard. They have regeneration, they cause terror, and they have silver shields, so a beautiful unit. Lorix, thank you so much for the follow. I really appreciate it. Hope you're enjoying your time here. For some leadership, we got a Bray Shaman of Wild. Going to be riding a Razor Gore Chariot here with the Mantle of Gorok, as well as Vile Tide and Bestial Surge. So, aside from this, where is the final leader that I'm missing? It must be Kazrak. It must be vanguarded somewhere. Wait, what the fuck? What? Am I crazy? Oh, yeah, there he is. He's way up here. So we got Kazrak One Eye up in the very front with Scourge as well as the Dark Mail on his chariot. Now, for the Skaven here, we have 3 clan rats with spears, and then we have 2 clan. We then have 2 Skaven slave spears, 2 plague monks, as well as the Blight Slabs Plague Pack plague monk sensor bearers with their immune to psychology effect called demagoguery. And then you have the Council Guard Stormvermin, the Unbreakable Regiment Renowned Stormvermin. We are then going to have 2 Hell Pit Abominations and a Rat Ogre. For leadership, we have a Warlock Engineer with the Doom Rocket, Warpstone Armor, and Musk of Fear, I think is what it's called. Yeah, Musk of Fear. And then for the other leader, we have Akit Claw with Unlimited Power, the Bronze Orb, as well as, is that Death Frenzy? Yeah, Death Frenzy, Howling Warp Gale, and Warp Lightning, also with the Musk of Fear. So there we go. Big Vanguard deployment army from the Beastmen and Falcon versus a very small Terror Elite Infantry army from the Skaven. And the immune to psychology that the Blight Scab pack will put on will be very vicious, and also the chariots from the Beastmen will have to be careful, because if they get tied up in Rat Ogres or come face to face with these Hell Pit Abominations, a lot of damage could be done. And so right now we're looking like we're going to see a very melee oriented Skaven build, and there's not even summons in it either. So I'm curious to see how it fares against this very wide Beastman army. I mean, looking at the deployment zone, you can see the Beastmen already circling around, closing the trap, the non-Vanguard units coming up from the deployment zone. And here we go. Kazrak diving in for his first bit of damage, but a Hell Pit Abomination, just like I'm saying, coming in here and putting down some damage to punish him for that charge in. But look at that. Oh my goodness gracious. Vile Tide going in there and just doing a lot of damage to what is that called? The Blight Scab's Plague Pack. Man, they have a hard name. But here we go. Skaven diving in. Rear charges coming in from the Centaurs. We need to see some of these Skaven units turning around to counter that, but it doesn't even look like they're going to. And Chronic coming in here, and what is this? Death Frenzy just got popped on top of all of the Skaven here. Or actually, I guess it was just against one unit here. But Brass Orb going down, doing a little bit of damage to these Centaurs who are back here. We're going to see some Warp Blinding coming in, doing some nice damage here to the Goreherd with shields. And it looks like the Skaven have opted for big blob, but here comes these Vile Tides, and that's just doing so much damage because of how grouped up this Skaven force is. And I mean, I don't know if Falcon was anticipating that, but the blob here from Chronic has really backfired. I like the idea of it, immune to psychology, a lot of heavy hitting units, but once you have Vile Tide and explosion spell like that, it just does so much damage that it really isn't an effective formation here.
Jesus, yeah, Viletide doing so much work. No Cygor summons have come in just yet, but the Beastmen are already looking like they're in a very dominant position. Rat Ogres here getting taken care of by the Butcher's Kalkengard. Both of the one of the Helped Abominations very low on health. We have the Ungor Raiders unchallenged, just firing into him, doing quite a lot of work. These units out here getting chased off, will not be coming back. The Centaurs doing what they do best, which is just chase down those routing units and kill them off, make sure they never come back to the field. A very important part of the game at this level of play. When we see the Butchers of Kalkengard diving back in, and probably see a Terror route go from there, but yeah, Falcon's spell usage was just absolutely on point here, because he has gotten so much damage done with nothing but that Viletide. And I mean, what is this? 110 kills on the Brave Shaman of Wild, and I'm going to guess most of that's from those spells. Granted, him being on a chariot helps as well, but yeah, vicious game from the Beastmen there, showing exactly why they are so dangerous for a faction like Skaven. Yeah, I mean, I really like his placement. You can see here, he's just keeping some units on the periphery, pulling some units in. Just really well played, clinical play by Falcon. And I have to say, Iconic, great games. Hope to see you in the tournaments to come. And you went up against one of the best players in the world, so be proud of yourself. But yeah, that was a great battle, great games. And Falcon, no chill whatsoever. Lorix, thank you for the follow once again. But that's going to be a 2-0 in favor of Falcon. It's a death ball, my son. Yeah, a death ball in the sense that it died. I think that would have been a really hard match for Lizardman if it weren't for the Viletide. The Viletide was so good. No one expects the Hell Pit Inquisition. Alright, you guys ready? So it does look like we are going to see the same army from UKIP he brought previously against Greenskins, and that army is going to consist of 2 Silver Helms, 1 unit of Illyrian Reavers, 1 unit of the Fireborn Dragon Princes. He's going to have 3 Swordmaster Hoeth, 2 White Lance Trace, and 2 Spearmen. Up in the air, we are going to have Alariel the Radiant on her Eagle. She's going to have the Star of Averlorn. She's going to have the Arcane Conduit, Arcane Unforging, as well as Earthblood and Shield of Sapphire. For the Greenskins, we are going to have a different army. 4 units of Forest Goblin Spider Rider Archers up front. He is then going to have 3 units of Orc Boys and 1 unit of Night Goblins. I like the choice of Orc Boys here. They only cost 450. They're a lot, so they're 50 cheaper than Spearmen, and they win in combat versus Spearmen, unless I'm mistaken. Now, we have 3 nasty Skulkers with their smoke bombs. We have 4 Black Orcs in the back line. For the leadership, Sentencia has brought a Night Goblin Shaman. Night Goblin Shaman will have Madcap Mushrooms, Wand of Jet, Scroll of Leeching, Gorkle Fix-It, as well as Vindictive Glare, Sneaky Stabbing, and Sneaky Stealing. Now for the other leader, we do have Warzag atop his Mount Spleen Rippa. Now Warzag is going to be bringing Effigy to get Wah, Here We Go, as well as Fist of Gork, Warzag's Revenge, and Power of the Wah. That will be it. Both players looking like they're just getting their deployment ready to go. High Elves, similar to last time, they have, strongest cavalry on the right flank, 2 units of their medium cavalry on the left flank. Infantry line is very strong with the Swordmasters of Hoeth, but 4 Black Orcs will be a tough cookie to, tough pill to swallow, not cookie. And then he does have these Illyrian Reavers vanguarded back behind and able to get down on top of any squishy, sensitive units. But this Greenskin army is very much just all about crump and gets. There's not any archers, no artillery for the High Elves to try to pick off with the Illyrian Reavers. There's just a back line of Black Orcs and a front line of Orc Boys. So we'll see how this goes. I'm very curious to see because it's really going to be a matter of if the High Elves can use their cavalry advantage to win the day, or if the Greenskins can use their infantry advantage to win the day. Now, what I think we'll need to see here is the High Elves will need to immediately get in the back lines and start rear charge pounding the Greenskins. the Greenskins, in turn, to counter the cavalry charges, even though they don't have a lot of mobility of their own, they do have effigy to get. No foot of Gork, which is a bit of a bummer for me. And he does have 3 smoke bombs, as well as Gork will fix it, which really slows units down by 48%, I believe, for that spell when it comes to casting over. Yeah, 48% speed debuff. So he has a lot of things to slow the high elves down. So even though he doesn't have a lot of like big big mobile units to smash down the cav, he has a lot of things to slow down the cav. So black orcs and such can do even more work. Over here, it looks like we're seeing Alariel the Radiant doing something. Arcane Unforging on top of Warzag. She is going to miscast that though, because of Warzag's ability nearby. The plus 50% miscast chance. I like that he brought that. It did a bit of damage in return for that Arcane Unforging on top of him. Over here, seeing the Illyrian Reapers coming back. The Greensons are going to continue harassing and harrying the High Elf opponents with their Missile Cav. And I'm curious to see when he's going to pop that wall. I mean, the Arcane Unforging does increase your recharge time, right? I guess we'll see if he can pop wall or not. I'm not sure. It does look like Warzag's going to dive out in advance, maybe trying desperately to recharge his wall in time. Plus 30% ability recharge. Yeah, so no, he's not going to be able to get wall off. Black Orcs are coming through the lines now, diving in, and we'll see how this goes. I mean, Swordmaster's a Hoeth. Everybody seemed to be getting clean charges. You can see Warzag in danger of getting sniped down by Alariel, but Alariel's going to get Effigy to get it in place, and I kind of would have liked to have seen that for maybe a later time. Going to see all the High Elf Cav coming forward, the Orc Boys diving behind, trying to protect the backlines here, and Night Goblins doing the same. And over here, we're going to see the Smoke Bomb going off, slowing down all of these units, including the Fireborn. Fireborn are going to be stuck in that combat for a minute, and we need to see some greenskin capitalization on top of this in order to take full effect of having these guys smoke bomb. Because right now what I've seen is an effigy to get used on top of Alariel when she wasn't in a position to be punished with that immobility. And then I've seen some smoke bombs over here where also the greenskins weren't in a position to punish the mobility after they demobilized it. So I would like to see a bit more patience using those immobilization abilities and waiting until you have a unit to actually get in and finish the job once you've immobilized them. But looking back here, Forest Goblin Spider Riders, a lot of them taking some good damage. Dragon Princes and the Silver Helms are all diving in and out, cycle charging into these the Orc Boys. And at this point, I mean, I'm curious to see how it's going to work out. We have Warzag getting dived into by the Fireborn, Black Orcs taking a big rear charge, but there goes Wah for the first time. Is it going to be enough to turn the tides of this battle? Because right now, without the Wah, the infantry engagements were actually pretty even across the board, and a lot of them even went in favor of the High Elves here. And so, since the infantry engagement is being lost right now, it's going to be very hard for the Greensons to come back because they don't have any mobility either. Warzag is getting chased down by Alariel. I don't think she'll be coming back from that. He will be coming back from that. And then the Night Goblin Shaman over here is also routing. And things are just looking really, really bleak for the Greenskins at the moment. Keep running, buddy. You got this. Just run away. Goofy guys. Meanwhile, over here, Forest Goblin Spider Riders continuing to fire in and do as much damage as they can. A smoke bomb going off here, slowing all of these forces down. Night Goblin's going to stay in combat, though. And yeah, look at this. I mean, Silver Helms are just coming in here and crushing the Forest Goblin Spider Riders. And I just don't think there's any way the Greensons are going to bring this back. A noble effort from Sentencia. I liked a lot of things about the build. I just disagreed with some of the execution there in terms of when he was immobilizing units. Also, didn't see any big Vindictive Glares on top of Alariel. But overall, I liked the build. I liked the look around it, but I just feel like Mukip here has been able to outplay his opponent a bit better. As his cav is still all online, a lot of damage done, that's absolutely right, but for the most part he's been able to zone out the greenskin skirmishers. and has been able to do enough damage to the back lines to where the Swordmasters of Hoeth and the Spearmen were able to come out on top in the infantry engagements. Over here, Greenson's trying to regroup. Got the Night Goblin Shaman coming over here to help support some Black Orcs, but they're about to be surrounded as some Swordmasters of Hoeth are diving in. Black Orcs were turning around, trying to get a counter charge off. And that will be that. Yamak, thank you so much. Yamakuse. Oh, Yamakuse. In any case, army loss is kicking in, and Mukip will take that first round 1-0. So, okay, here we go. Starting off with Mukip's Vampire Coast. He's got a huge army, so 4 units of deck droppers, 2 on either flank, it would seem. He's got 5 units of Zombie Pirate Deckhand Mob, 5 units of Zombie Pirate Deckhand Mob with pole arms, or is that just actually 3? Never mind. No, yeah, 4 pole arms. He's got 5 of the Deckhand Mob. He's got Shade Wraith Gunners, Deck Gunners. He's going to have what appears to be 2 Carronades. Aside from this, yeah. So wait, is that 3 Carronades? So 2 Carronades, the Shade Wraith Deck Gunners, 4 Deck Droppers, 4 of the Deckhands Mob with pole arms. He's got the 5 up here of the regular Deckhand Mob. And for leadership, it looks like we have Noctilus on foot, very popular choice. He is going to have Captain Roth's Moondial, Wraithstorm, Arcane Conduit, Invocation to Heck, and Drowned Dead. We will also be seeing some Zombie Pirate Gunnery Mob with handguns, so what appears to be, what we got here, 3 units of the armor, so the handgun variant, and then 2 just Zombie Pirate Gunnery Mob, so a lot of chaff in this army. Now, coming over here, we are going to be seeing the Dark Elves. The Dark Elves are going to have 4 units of Bleak Swords, 2 units of Dread Spears, 3 units of Sisters of Slaughter, 1 unit of Black Ark Corsairs with Handbows, and 2 units of Shades. Ooh, interesting. One of them with dual weapons. We're going to have a unit of Witch Elves over here in the far right, and then for the leadership, we're going to have a K-Knight Assassin. This K-Knight Assassin will go ahead and have Dark Venom, as well as Black Lotus, Assassin's Trophy. And then, over here, for the leader, we have a Sorceress of Fire on foot. A Supreme Sorceress of Fire with her crazy eyes is going to have Burning Head, Flaming Sword of Ruin, Fireball, Kindle Flame with the Opal Amulet, and Arcane Conduit. And let's see who comes out on top here. I mean, oof, a lot of firepower from the Vampire Coast right now with a lot of chaff. And then meanwhile over here, quite a lot of infantry killing power in the form of these 3 Sisters of Slaughter. And then he's still got a lot of Bleak Swords up front, some Dread Spears, so a lot of infantry here to chew through the Vampire Coast. We'll see if they can take care of it or not. The Shades will be very important here too, I imagine, to help counter out these deck droppers, as well as the Black Ark Corsairs with Handbows. So we'll have to see how the missile contingent from the Dark Elves does against this Vampire Coastline. Also curious to see if we see a cheeky Fireball try to go down the line of these these deck droppers or not. There we go, we're going to see the artillery coming in. Immediately these deck droppers are all going to target the Sisters of Slaughter. That makes the most sense to me, I'm with it. And but in comes the fire here to counteract that. And those deck droppers taking some mean damage right away. And honestly not dishing out that much damage against the Sisters of Slaughter. So good for the Sisters of Slaughter. They are able to survive that for the most part. But now the Shade Wraith deck droppers, the Shade Wraith deck gunners are doing quite a lot of damage in there. And we're going to see those Sisters of Slaughter actually retreating in order to get into the protective range of their Shades. Alright, here comes all the firepower. Man, the Vampire Coast is mean with firepower. Don't turn around, just keep... actually, no, I don't know. Whoa, I don't know why these guys are turning around, though. It's concerning. A lot of damage being done so far, but I think once they get into these gaps, I'm very curious to see how these Sisters of Slaughter do. going down the battle line. We're going to see all of the Dark Elf forces diving in to this front line of zombies, doing their little combat rolls and large leaps. Yeah, so now that the front lines have met, we will see how the Vampire Coast does. The Dark Elves infantry is going to really outclass the Zombie Pirate gunnery. The Zombie Pirate deckhand mob. But the ranged is really just doing so much work from the Vampire Coast. Right now the Shades are targeting the deck droppers, once again clearly thinking they're going to be the most deadly unit. Supreme Sources of Fire is going to be getting the Shade, oh man, a Wraith Storm on top of her doing so much damage. And oh boy, Wavering already lost a ton of health, and the Carronades are shooting on top of that Supreme Sorceress of Fire as well. Trying to look across the field, I mean, it just looks like the damage coming in from the Vampire Coast is too much for the Dark Elves to handle. A lot of the frontline engagements, the Dark Elves are getting really worn down, but look at this. These guys are basically gone. They need to pull through, get on top of these units. But as soon as they do that, they're in a really nasty crossfire. I have to say, Mukip has done a really good job setting up his firing lines to where no matter where the Dark Elves go, they're going to be consistently pressured. Need to see this center line from the Dark Elves push through and start filling the gaps. They need to rush through, send people over this way, send people over this way. Look at, there we go. Bleak Sword's getting down over here to shut down those gunnery mob with handguns. These guys pushing through the center. They need to get on top of them. And these Bleak Swords need to be re-microed back into the fight. Dive in there, dive in there, dive in there. Witch Elves are doing a really good job cutting through these units. Bleak Swords are just sitting back here looking pretty, doing nothing. Over here, deck droppers are being taken out by the Shades, who are actually doing really well for themselves health-wise. I'd like to see them get up here even further in the combat to continue supporting the Dark Elf engagement. There we go, Bleak Swords diving in, coming in to shut down this artillery piece, as well as the Zombie Pirate gunnery mob. We're going to see the Witch Elves taking a lot of damage, and the balance of power continuing to go further and further in favor of the Vampire Coast, because it does look like the Supreme Sources of Fire was killed off. Just a lot of damage done there. K-Knight Assassin getting the Wraith Storm on top of him now. And yeah, Shades are coming up here. They're doing okay for themselves. They have plenty of ammo, but at this point it's really about what can they do. And I mean, honestly, at this point I might try to use him to snipe down Noctilus. But he's going to be pulling forward. Probably a wise decision, taking care of the range units first. But if he could kill Noctilus, then he could potentially swing the leadership balance of power back in his favor. But if Noctilus is alive, they're just going to continue beating summons, continue beating the Hex, and it's not going to go well for him. But looking at the infantry for the Dark Elves, you know, they are starting to pull together. A lot of the Vampire Coast infantry and units are starting to crumble out, and with the summon debuff, it is going to make this a lot closer of a fight since those summons are wearing out over time. But yeah, no, it just looks like the Dark Elves are getting surrounded, getting in bad crossfires, not going to survive the morale penalties. And yeah, at this point I think the writing's once again going to be on the wall, unless we see the Dark Elves pull something really crazy right now. These units are crumbling, so they shouldn't be able to fire much longer. We're going to see that now Noctilus is the target of some sniping fire coming in from the Shades and the K-Knight Assassin. But yeah, this balance of power is just continuing to slip away from the Dark Elves. Sentencia has actually already called GG, and I think this will be hard fought best of 3, but we're going to be seeing Mukip progress to the finals to face off against Velcon. Yeah, Army Loss is probably going to kick in any second now. I wonder if these Shades could do anything, but yeah, there's too many guns. Really, that huge chaff strategy coming here from Migso really paid off. Alright, you guys are actually crumbling out. You guys are very healthy. I mean, I'm trying to see, like, looking across the field like they're running out of units. The Vampire Coast is. If he could kill Noctilus, then that would be crazy. But he needs to shoot Noctilus, probably. Oh, no way. Is there any way the Dark Elves can do this, guys? I mean, Invocation in the Heck is starting to go down. But, dude, look at the damage going down on top of Noctilus. Imagine if that other shade was still here too. Very curious to see how this battle progresses as we're coming down to the final stages. It's getting close. Shade's gonna run out of ammo shooting at Noctilus, and once they're out of ammo, yeah, I don't think the K9 Assassin has what it takes to take down Noctilus anymore. He's gonna be shooting his little crossbows, turning around to run away. Noctilus over here, just get off my beach. Army loss is kicking in. That will be a great game to Mukip and to Sentencia. Sentencia, thank you for playing. Better luck next time. Mukip is an excellent player, so well earned, and thank you for those entertaining battles, guys. But in any case, here we go. Let's take a look at the Red Army first, being brought by Falcon. Also, let's get my camera off the screen. So we're going to have what appears to be Horned Ones. He loves his Horned Ones. So appears to be 3 units of Horned Ones and 1 unit of Feral Cold Ones. He is going to have 2 units of Skink Cohort with Javelins, 2 units of regular Skink Cohort, and 2 units of Red Crested Skinks. He will have, is that 2 units of Croxigor or just 1? 1 unit of Croxigor. He will have an Ancient Salamander, and then for leadership, we got an Ancient Skink Priest of Heavens. This guy's going to have Wind Blast, Harmonic Conversions, and the Cube of Darkness. Now, for our final leader, we are going to have him over here. It's going to be a Saurus Oldblood. Saurus Oldblood will have the Horn of Kygor, as well as Stand Your Ground, Amulet of Itzel, and Foe Seeker. Let's go ahead and take a look at our Empire player. The Empire is going to be bringing to the field a very large army. He's going to have 3 units of Empire Swordsmen, what appears to be 4 units of Empire Spearmen. Make that 5 units of Empire Spearmen. He's going to have 2 Handgunners and 2 Halberdiers. He's going to have 2 units of Flagellants. I like this choice. Their Unbreakable trait really helps anchor this main line. He will have 2 Empire Knights. He will have Karl Franz up in the air with Garl Maraz, Reichland, Runefang, Stand Your Ground, Hold the Line is what it's called. Yeah, Hold the Line and Foe Seeker. And then we will have that Damsel of Life, wherever, or not Damsel, that Jade Wizard here, going to be on foot with Regrowth, Shield of Thorns, as well as Life Bloom and Power Stone. So, that rounds it out for both players. And let's see who comes out on top. I mean, looking at the deployment, Falcon going a bit wider with his Horned Ones out very far on the wide flank, as he's been known to do. And I'm curious to see who comes out on top here. I mean, clearly very little cav. It seems to me that Mukip is only bringing cav in this army to act as some mass to prevent dinosaurs from diving through endlessly. So I'm curious to see if this, you know, this build that really doesn't try to contend the mobility in any way and just hopes that the Spearmen will be able to meat shield while these guys do damage. I'm curious to see how well it does, because I mean, right now he's going up against an army that really only has 1 dino that it needs to worry about, and that's going to be the Saurus Oldblood. And the Ancient Salamander, I suppose, too, but the Ancient Salamander's fireballs are absolutely nuts. It's going to do so much damage, and I like the targeting there. Right on top of the Halberdiers, the anti-large armor piercing unit. Okay, Horned Ones coming through the forest. Looks like we're going to scoot on past these Spearmen. There goes a Wind Blast, doing a lot of damage, but I think missing its optimal cast there, with a lot of it going off into the tail end there into an unpopulated space. Lizardmen are going to continue pushing forward. The cannons are firing in, dishing out some nice damage. The Croc scores already 2 models down. And then we have Karl Franz coming out here doing a really nice job threatening the Lizardman forces, because all of the cavalry is over here in the back on the opposite side of where Karl is. So if Karl wants to dive down here, he could easily do it, and the Croc scores are the only thing threatening him, but they're really low on health now, and Karl Franz has decided to take that chance and dive in after that Ancient Salamander. But look at this, Horned Ones diving in against the Empire Knights, dishing out so much damage. Spearmen are in here, desperately trying to help stem the tide, but they've taken very little damage so far, and the Spearmen and Empire Knights have taken quite a lot. We're going to see the Kroxigor are going to begin routing. Meanwhile, Karl Franz is diving back here, deciding, like, I can't afford to wait. I need to come back and make sure we win this combat. He has these Spearmen coming around the back to hold down all of these units. Garl Maraz and the Reichling Rumfang and Stand Your Ground all popped at once, really going to help this Empire line. And the Spearmen diving in from behind these Horned Ones are going to be doing a lot of damage. Karl Franz desperately going after Saurus Oldblood, deciding that's the unit he has a number for. And he's going to get a big hit right there on top of the Saurus Oldblood. But Karl Franz taking some damage in return. But back here, this is the important engagement. So will these Horned Ones be able to survive? Because if the Empire can keep some of this chaff alive and Karl Franz, then I think they're going to win this battle. But if they can't kill off all the Horned Ones right here, then it's going to be an uphill battle. They need to hold back this front line until he deals with all this mobility. Karl Franz continuing to do so much work. Regrowth going down on top of him. The Saurus Oldblood is down to half health. We got some Halberdiers coming out to help Karl Franz with the meat shield. But look at this. A huge rout going in on all of these Spearmen. The Horned Ones just doing so much work. Who would have thought the Horned Ones just being able to dish out so much damage to a bunch of cheap infantry with bonus versus large? I thought they would have performed much worse there. But Karl Franz continuing to go after the Saurus Oldblood. He's deciding he doesn't really care about anything else in this fight besides killing that Saurus Oldblood. And I have to agree with him. Kill the Saurus Oldblood. If you can finish that job, you could probably, just with Karl Franz, deal with these Horned One Knights and the infantry. But Karl Franz needs to get in the air, and he needs to come kill this Saurus Oldblood. And here he goes. Foe Seeker being popped. Karl Franz diving in, trying to get a rear charge there. Not doing the most damage. But here he comes. Is this going to be a good rear charge? It looks like it just may be. Karl Franz going in, a nice hit. And but looking at the rest of the Empire army, look at it, it's all routing. This Lizardmen have done a great job here. They've routed everything else in the Empire army besides Karl Franz right now. And I just don't know if Karl Franz can do this by himself. I mean, he sure has dished out a ton of damage. He's going to get the MVP for this battle for sure, but I just don't think he's going to be able to do it. Stand Your Ground being popped, increasing that leadership, but the Ancient Salamander coming in from behind. And it looks like we're going to see Falcon take down Mukip for this first battle, and it's going to be a 1-0 lead for Falcon, but a very close match. Yeah, very nice fight. Alright, let's get this army blocker off the screen, as well as my face. And Storm Daemon being the map, let's see who comes out on top. Windblast that Falcon done on the left flank of the Empire when the Horned One was engaging against the infantry made him win the game pretty much. Yeah, no, Chronic, that's a very good point. I mean, Windblast usage was absolutely pivotal in opening up some of that flank to let the Horned Ones get through. So, Falcon played awesome. Ugh. Oh man, that's a big old bowl of warpstone here. Yes. Yum. Yes. Alright, let's start off with our High Elves. So we got Mukip here. He's bringing what appears to be 4 Spearmen and 2 Swordmasters of Hovath. He's got 2 Archers, he's got 2 Silver Helms, and 2 Dragon Princes, one of them being the Fireborn Regiment of Renown. Up in the air we got Alariel, Larry, the one and only, the Lord everybody seems to like the most, with the Star of Too Much Healing, Arcane Conduit, Arcane Unforging, Earthblood, as well as Shield of Savary. Now, let's go ahead and check out our red player, Falcon, bringing the Dark Elves to the field. Now, Falcon will have 2 Dread Spears, 3 Bleak Swords, Other than that, he's going to have a lot of cav and chariots. So he's going to have 3 cold 1 chariots. I love this choice. They will be able to make very mean work against the high elf infantry, as long as their cav can protect them from the dragon princes. Now, for the cav, we're going to have a unit of cold 1 knights and 2 cold 1 dread knights, one of them being the Knights of the Ebon Claw. We will then have the Slaneshi Harvesters being the regiment renowned Doomfire Warlocks with Soul Stealer, as well as Word of Pain for their bound spells. Up in the air, we are going to see, last but certainly not least, a Supreme Sorceress of Dark on top of a Manticore with Arcane Conduit, Opal Amulet, Soul Stealer, as well as Word of Pain, Chillwind, and Spiteful Conjuration. So, there we go, chat. Who's going to come out on top? Chariots pushing forward. One nice thing about Cold One Chariots that a lot of people don't take, that a lot of people kind of just don't think about, is that their missile damage is armor piercing and can be very good at harassing single entity flyers. You just have to run your chariots underneath them, similar to Doomwheel, and let them do damage over time. They have a ton of ammunition at 46, and since there's only, a couple models there, that ammunition goes a long way, and they'll get their damage done over time and they'll pay for themselves. So it's a nice way to basically just frustrate Alariel and zone her out, because otherwise she will just take a ton of chip damage that will stack up over time. Arcanum Fortune going down on top of the Knights of the Ebon Claw, and it's killed off some models, so they're at 24 when they're normally at 36, so 12 models killed in that one cast from Alariel. Very valuable use of magic. Here come the High Elves shooting in at the archers. I mean, the chariots, the Cold One Chariots do have 110 armor, so regular archers from the High Elves will have minimal impact since they don't have a ton of AP damage on them. Alright. Chariot's going to continue splitting up like this. Man, I have to say, I'm just a big fan of this Dark Elf army. I like it a lot, and I have to say the High Elves are going to have their work cut out for them. Granted, these guys have a lot of cav power too, and they have the Spearmen to support, but these Chariots, I think, are just going to be so tough for the High Elves to deal with. Like, they can dive their cav in there, try to slow them down, but otherwise, look at that. They're just going to dive through this infantry and pull right on through. Here we go, the other one's coming in, and look at the cycle charge. One in, one out, one in, while the other one pulls out. Really like how the Dark Elves have formed this build. Okay, another Arcane Unfortunate going down on the Knights of the Ebon Claw, and it looks like these guys are just going to get deleted by magic, and some Spearmen coming in to finish off the job. Chillwind going on over there. Star of Averlorn coming in on top of this Silver Helms with the Word of Pain on top of them too. And it looks like it's a cheeky move. They're going to be trying to chase down the Slaneshi Harvesters while the Knights of the Ebon Claw dive in on top of them. Over here, looking at the mainline engagements, we are going to see Cold One Chariots taking a lot of damage, surprisingly. A couple of them very low on health. One of them has lost a model, the other two still full models. Over here, it looks like we're going to see an Earthblood or a Soul Stealer go down. Yep, Soul Stealer going down on top of the Fireborn and all of these guys. Seeing some Cold One Knights diving to help support in that engagement. Curious to see who comes out on top, but here we go. Looking here, Cold One Chariots, these ones are down to 2 models and are routing. Over here, these guys are starting to waver, but Knights of the Ebon Claw and Slaneshi Harvesters are diving into support, and we'll see how they do for themselves. Over here, another big Soul Stealer coming down, this time on top of a bunch of High Elf units. You got the Sword Masters of Ho with some Archers, a Spearmen, and some Silver Helms, as well as these Dragon Princes all caught up in that, and that's really a vicious thing to have to go through. Slaneshi Harvester's really paying dividends right now. Supreme Sorceress of Dark is trying to support this fight against the High Elves. Diving in, the Fireborn are still holding up, but they are losing combat, and Terror just barely kicked in, and that's a big deal. But 2 High Elf Spearmen still there to try and stem the tide of that Dark Elf left flank. Cold One Chariots diving back into the center. Swordmasters of Hoa taking so much damage in this combat. Bleak Swords in here trying to meat shield and grind for the Chariots. Slaneshi Harvesters hanging by a thread in terms of health, but still doing damage, getting in the backlines here, shutting down these archers. And this battle is just so close, guys. Such a crazy close battle. Right now, it's saying the High Elves are having the balance of power, but, I'm not convinced. I think this is neck and neck at the moment, and a lot is going to be decided within the next 30 seconds to 60 seconds, because what this center engagement turns out to, I think, will set the pace for the rest of the battle. So if these Cold One Knights and Cold One Chariots survive, then I think that will have a snowball effect, and this center line, once it breaks, the morale will debuff the rest of the High Elf army, and the Dark Elves can take it from there. However, if this center holds strong, then I just don't think the Dark Elves are going to be left with enough tools to take down Alariel. I think Alariel is going to be very difficult to deal with if the Dark Elves are left without Cav in the end, because Alariel can just heal through anything, pop Stars of Averlorn. Another Star of Averlorn going down here on top of Silver Helms. I feel like both the Stars of Averlorns were used a bit, I don't know, mistimed. I didn't really think they were casting the right units there. You didn't get any Dragon Princes healed in either of them. Over here, Alariel the Radiant staying on top of the Cold One Chariot. She is absolutely key in taking care of these. This one's down to 1 model now. This guy's down to 2 models. And is there another chariot left on the field? Not that I can see. Knights of the Ebon Claw getting charged by Alariel. They're going to hit these archers, knocking them back quite a bit. These chariots are getting killed off by the Dragon Princes. Once they aren't moving, we can deal with them. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. This is crazy. The battle is so damn close. Looking across the battlefield, we've got the Slaneshi Harvesters over here, archers regrouping over here. Out here we have some High Elf cavalry grouping, potentially with Swordmasters of Hoeth, and yeah, this is just such a close fight. Alariel thinking about diving in, but thinking better of it. You guys can go deal with these chariots. They still have 3 chariots on the field, so 2 of them have 2 models, 1 of them is down to 1 model. But damn, these chariots are going to be what pulls this battle back in favor of the Dark Elves if Mixa can't shut it down with Alariel and these spearmen. There she goes, diving in now. Alariel hit into the back of those Cold One Chariots. These Dread Spears look like they're wavering. Alright, there goes the route. And now Mixa may be able to get a route that matters. If he can chase off these chariots, he needs to get Alariel on top of them. They're wavering. Oh no. There goes a Chill Wind. That Chill Wind actually looked like it did more damage to the Dread Spears than the High Elves. And Alariel is now going up and attacking the Supreme Sorceress of Dark. Looks like she may even be baited into diving in. And there it goes, Alariel diving in. Going to be popping an Earthblood, but a Soul Stealer going down at the same time. And, ooh, who's going to come out on top? Alariel is actually pulling out of there right now. She will be able to take off. And can she regroup enough High Elf forces to bring this battle in her favor? Because now the Dark Elves have the lead according to the balance of power. 176 to 197, a neck-and-neck race. But there we go. Alariel diving in, taking out another model, it would seem. And yeah, this is crazy. Such a close match, but I just feel like these Cold One Chariots are going to set the pace for the rest of the battle. But Alariel just took out one of them. Can she take out the other? I mean, if she can take out both of the chariots and not let them get in on her infantry, maybe, just maybe, Alariel can help tank and heal and deal with the remainder of the Dark Elf forces. But this chariot needs to go offline. It's wavering. It looks like it's going to be down to 1 model. Alariel's going in. Is she going to be able to get the kill? Oh, Alariel. The chariot's going to go down, but now Alariel's all by herself. Can she take care of the Supreme Sorceress of Dark? I don't think she can. She's going to be pulling up, and then once... Okay, she has to stay in combat now, because there are no other units in the air. I'll go ahead and just give them a second as a warning, make sure I'm not missing any units in the field. Nope, not. So it does look like Falcon's got to stay in combat. I mean, Mixa. Honestly, I'm going to be quiet and just let them play it out. I trust that Mixa and Falcon are both good enough sports to where he's not going to be spamming or, you know, trying to be gamey, because technically over here he is in combat. He's got spearmen fighting off these Dread Spears. And, oh, is he going to get this route? That could actually change things a bit. Coming over here, we have Alariel diving in. Word of Pain going down on top of her. She's pulling up into the air, desperately trying to get out of there. But that's going to be a GG, and Falcon going to take that final 2-0. Yeah, Soul Stealer did so much. Oh, it's a Mewkip. I kept saying Mixa. I'm so sorry, guys. That entire time I said Mixa. Mewkip, 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 Mewkip. There is no Mixa here. Mewkip, Mewkip, Mewkip. Oh, man. I feel bad that I was messing that up the whole time. But yeah, Falcon's a bot. Mewkip played that beautifully. Not Mixa. Mewkip. But those chariots, as soon as I saw the 3 chariots, it's like, oh, Hylos needs to be careful because I also saw his build. I mean, these Swordmasters of Hoeth were so vulnerable. And as soon as you saw these chariots, it was just, fuck, the chariots were what won him the game. I would argue that chariots and Soul Stealer, those 2 things together are the key components that allowed Falcon to win that. And what a beautiful win it was, and what a beautiful series of games it was for Falcon. Great games across the board. Or, congrats, I mean. So we got our newest champion of death, guys, and it is the one and only Falcon. So we'll also be updating our army blocker because I have a feeling Falcon is going to be rising up the ranks. So very good games to Falcon. This guy's on a roll.